Hey Sag, this is like take 3 for you, okay? I've had to restart this a few times. So I think you're in a process right now of false starts. It's like you think you're ready to move ahead with something, and then something comes up to sort of sidetrack you or derail you, and then you got to deal with this before you can move ahead to that, okay? There's some kind of energy that's sort of fracturing your energy, your focus. It's diversionary in nature. Okay, this just coming in. I had to bring it in right off the bat because, there's not the usual countdown here that you're used to. And that's because I had to restart the recording 3 times. This third time's the charm. Okay, there could be something that you're going for here, Sag, that you've had more than one swing at. Third time's the charm. Okay, you're gonna hit it out of the park the third time up at the plate. All right. So this is for any significant Sagittarius placement, or if you got a prominent placement in the ninth house. Also, if you are a Gemini rising, that makes you a Sag descendant, and especially in terms of relationship dynamics, descendant sign can show you so much. And that energy is at the forefront right now with Libra hosting their ruling planet Venus. And we also, of course, have the nodes of destiny, Mars, Venus action going on. So there is a lot of relationship stuff coming to the forefront, especially with eclipse season rolling out here. Think all the way back to 2008 Sagittarius. This is quite a long cycle we're clearing up here. And we're preparing to move on to the new road, whatever that looks like, whether it's a revamped road that's had some repairs, maybe filled up some potholes so there's not such a rough ride, so there can be sort of a smoother flow in traffic as you move on up to that north node activation. So let's have a look at it. We're going to look at what is this challenge that Pluto is issuing to Sagittarius? What is this challenge that Pluto is issuing to Sagittarius? Oh, well, it's to bring something into alignment. Maybe 4th time is the charm. Yeah, I think you've been working on this for a while. All you're trying to do is achieve some balance between you and another. You want to see both of you arrive at this place of feeling like you're fulfilled mutually, I do think you are taking a view of a situation where you are considering another's feelings. You may be starting to realize how much you appreciate a particular person in your life. And I do feel they're mirroring this back at you. There is some desire to reach that happy culmination point in a particular storyline. I feel like it's been rough. It's been rough getting this thing to come home. For some of you, maybe that's what it's about. You want to bring this home. You're ready to bring it home. You're ready to slide into the home plate. For some of you, a home is central to this. The family is central to this. Desire to come into union with another in a way that feels like it's high time. It's meant to be. This is destiny. It's been put on hold for too long. I do feel like there is some kind of celebration here that's at the basis of the matter, some kind of alignment that's supposed to come in. And maybe this is directly what is being challenged by Pluto in Capricorn. Is this just a fairy tale? Is it just a fantasy? Or is this something that is truly meant to be? Let's have a look here and see what's coming in here. What is this challenge that Pluto is issuing to Sagittarius as it's making its way through that sign of Capricorn? So this energy is going to be in play until November 19th, Sag, just before your season starts to come into view here. So there's quite a lot that's going to roll out here. We got one card coming up there. Okay, there's something here that you do need to face. There's some kind of truth that needs to be faced. There's some kind of truth that needs to be spoken. We got Queen of Swords energy here. So this is a South Node matter right now. This is big Libra energy. There's some truth that needs to be revealed. And maybe revealed to another that you're dealing with, but there's been a lot of guarding around this. There's a lot of protection around a new beginning manifesting in this situation, because there's a lot of blocking around the heart space. Okay, so at some point here, I do feel like somebody went a bit cold. Okay, and whatever this is, you do feel like it represents your North Node destiny with the Emperor there. So we have air sign energy on the board, big Libra energy, also Gemini, Aquarius. We also have Aries energy here and Taurus. And there's a lot of defensiveness here. There's a lot of self-protection. There's also a need to feel a sense of security in a situation where maybe it doesn't feel quite safe. But I do see, with the Emperor on the scene, that somebody has really been having a look at themselves. There's some integration work that's occurred here. Somebody has been moving through the paces of the deep stuff here. They have. They've been integrating the lessons of all the four suits. So somebody here is very well aware of their truth. They know the truth that they need to speak, that they need to communicate. They're also aware of the action that they need to take in order to get things moving. On top of that, they are clearly fixated on what they would consider their destiny and how they want to transform a particular fate that got handed down to them into something that does create sort of like that happy ending to a particular storyline, at least for that particular chapter in the story, right? Because we know that there's never an ending. As long as we're here on planet Earth, there's always going to be iterations. There's always going to be revising. There's always going to be new chapters to open. There's always going to be new books to open entirely. For some of you, this could have something to do with something you're supposed to write, actually. I'm seeing that sword, and it always does make me think of writers. It makes me think of putting our thoughts down on paper. I think like the pen is mightier than the sword. So there might be something here that you've learned through a particular growth process too that's inspiring some writing. This could be the writing of a book. This could be the writing of a screenplay. This could be the writing of music. This just coming through. But I feel like there's a truth that is ready to be spoken. And this is an action, I think, that's been long overdue, some communication that needs to happen here. I do feel like this is a situation that requires the defenses come down. There needs to be an understanding that sometimes when it really matters and it's all on the line, there aren't any safe spaces. And there can be this sense of being overly fixated on safety or security when the true empowerment and level up comes from sort of being willing to be really vulnerable and open. There's a strength discovered in this vulnerability of facing a truth, taking the action to communicate a truth, and entering into a certain communication here. Yes, there's some piece around security that's factoring heavily in this situation as well. It could be monetary security too. Do I favor monetary security, material security over where my heart is leading me to go here with the Knight of Cups? So there is some advancement here. Yes, because after the wands, after the fire, right, taking the action, then there is the emotions that come in. There's the feeling, the nurturing of the vision. And so I do feel like there's a desire to nurture a vision here, but it does require that there's action taken. Whatever this is it provides freedom. Freedom for two that currently feel bound, that currently feel trapped, that currently feel stuck in a particular headspace, stuck in a certain stifling situation. I don't feel like it's just one. Some of you are needing to speak a truth to a partner, and you're needing to get free of a dynamic that's held you in place for too long. And maybe you've stayed in this situation for security purposes, but now you need to follow your heart. It might feel very risky to you, but it's necessary. For others of you, this could be really changing your beliefs about something, moving away from tradition, and you're starting to head down a different spiritual path. And you're finding it very challenging, but at the same time, you're also feeling enlivened by it because you feel like you've broken free of some kind of sense of limitation or some kind of dogma that's kept you in a place of feeling really disempowered. Right? This is about you moving forward on your path, following your heart and getting yourself out of a bind. Now it is coming in, so I'm going to bring it in on an esoteric level. This could be an old spiritual matter, okay? This could be an old spiritual matter, and there was some energy set in motion. There could have even been some kind of binding work that somebody did in this situation, and it kept two of you that are meant to come into alignment held up at the crossroads for a long time. And if you're brave, and if you can communicate with each other very truthfully, honestly, and you can kind of air everything out, put it all on the line, come forward from the heart, there is an opportunity to get the keys that spring the lock on this self-imposed prison for both of you, I have to say. It will take strength. This is a very deep-seated, old challenge here. You are moving through karmic territory here. You could be dealing with a Leo in this situation. You could be dealing with a water sign in this situation. Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer. You could be dealing with a Cancer, Leo cusper. You could also be dealing with a Pisces, Aries cusper. That's possible as well. You could be dealing with a Taurus. Aries energy coming out really strongly. Taurus energy coming out very strongly in this situation. Or air sign energy. Libra strong. Also Gemini, Aquarius coming in there, okay? Whatever this is, you see there's communication that needs to come up and out. I feel like this action hasn't been taken yet. We see the Empress energy here has the ability, though, to coax this out of a character that maybe is particularly prideful in this situation. I think of Empress energy, and it evokes Libra. We already got Libra energy on the board. Also Taurus, okay? So these energies in play. And I think that whatever communication has been withheld and where there's kind of a posturing in the situation, sort of like acting like, oh, I don't care about that. It doesn't mean anything to me. It's coming more from a place of pride. Like somebody's not wanting to let down their guard because of pride. They feel like their pride's on the line, like their dignity is on the line here. But we do see like this Empress energy that mirrors this Emperor energy. And what's creating the distance between the South Node and the North Node, the fate and the destiny here, is this communication that needs to come up and out. Not through posturing, not through passive aggressive posts on social media, not through, showboating, acting like it doesn't matter, trying to look like the strong one, the empowered one in the situation. It's actually quite the opposite. Like the person who can let down their guard, the person who can let down their blocks and just be open about what they're experiencing here is the one that's actually in the more empowered position than the one who's holding their truth close to their chest. There is something that's being moved away from here as well. I see that. And what I feel is being moved away from is any kind of sort of vagueness around intentions, emotions. There's like no more tolerance for this. Something really needs to be crystallized. Something needs to be made clear. It's also possible that there is a need to move away from a situation where there's been a lot of emotional investment, but there's a recognition that it is not the direction you were meant to head in. And this may mean you need to head off on your own toward what you do know is in alignment for you, but you've just been too afraid to sort of like cut the cord on what was keeping you tethered to a particular post. So you could move into this vulnerable territory of taking down the blocks and really expressing from the heart. So this is a need to drop sort of defenses and come more from a place of what may feel to you initially like a really vulnerable position, because you're exposing something that's been hidden for a long time. We have Pisces energy here in terms of this 8 of Cups with this Page of Cups here. Okay, I do feel like there's a situation you had to pull away from. You had to put some blocks in place in this situation. I think mainly because you felt a lot of confusion or something became unclear. You may be questioning, did you do the right thing with this? Absolutely. Okay. You made the right choice in that regard. You may have invested a lot of belief or faith in a particular person and recognized that it sort of led you on a detour. And now you're getting back on the right track here. You may have even had to coax the truth out of this person, right? Or this may be a challenge you're having to face. And you might have to have some sensitivity in a situation where you might be more prone to kind of like call somebody to the mat. But I feel like somebody here is coming from a place of wounding. You may not understand why they sort of led you down a particular path in this situation. This is like a karmic cycle that's playing out. You may realize that somebody that you invested a lot of faith in actually didn't have necessarily your best interest at heart. And you're kind of being asked to temper some of your emotions around that as well. You might feel pretty angry about this. You might want to teach this person a lesson, but you're actually being asked to have some compassion in a situation where maybe you feel like there wasn't compassion extended to you. That's kind of how it's coming through here, all right? This is a complicated karmic cycle. It's been playing out a long time here, all right? And you got one final stretch to go here that does involve you just sort of trusting your own counsel, following your own path. It's got a bit of that sort of Bard Taliesin energy there. I do feel like you're being asked to trust that it's time to walk away from a particular dynamic and to trust your own counsel. And I think you've been taking some time, some space to yourself to make up your mind about a particular situation. But something has become undeniable about where you're meant to go, and you can't ignore this any longer. And I do feel your big challenge here is revealing your hand. That's sort of what it feels like. You have to take that risk to reveal your hand. Something that you kept just between you and spirit. You've sent up a lot of prayers about this. You certainly have. This is your energy right here. Page of Wands. You've sent up a lot of prayers about this. You've been asking for spiritual guidance. You've been trying to hope for some kind of miracle to come in on a wing and a prayer to iron something out. This has been challenging, but I do see you letting go here, okay? And I do see communication around this. This is what you're being asked to do. This is what you're being asked to do. And I think it's hard for you. I do. I think it's really hard for you to open up this communication. You're not sure how it's going to be. See? You're not sure if somebody's going to go and bite your head off. You're not sure if they're going to be on the attack. You're not sure if this is even a road that's open to you anymore. I feel like there's something that you got diverted from. And you may now feel like there's no reception there for you. Like it's gone cold. The trail's gone cold. And it's interesting. It's sort of like the issue that you are being presented with here is, who are you going to trust more? Somebody else's counsel or what your own heart has told you? There's something here about really valuing your own counsel. I think that you tried to get some kind of like confirmation through another. You may have invited somebody into your situation and shared with them what you were struggling with or a decision you were trying to make. And I do feel like you got a little bit misled in a situation, and this has caused you to sort of miss an opportunity or an alignment. You may view it as that, but we're never missing an alignment that's supposed to come in. This is more like it was delayed. But there's something here that actually needed to be balanced out with this particular character that you might have some rough feelings toward. I do feel like you're having to temper your reaction to this person and have some compassion. And you may feel like this is taking quite a bit of strength on your behalf because you feel like a lot of time was wasted here and you've been through a lot. But this is the correct way to move, I have to tell you, because there is something that can be recovered here for you. It's a tangible new beginning. It's a seed for your future. And there's growth here. And it's not here yet. Okay, this Ace of Pentacles, it's a timing card. It's associated with the spring. So I feel like right now you're meant to be closing things out. Following through is sort of like setting up the proper means to move into expansion. First, there's a truth that needs to be communicated here before you can see a tangible beginning in moving this thing forward. It seems like it's something you feel like you lost out on because you trusted somebody else's advice about the situation. You didn't trust your own intuition about it, or you felt like a lot of opposition to moving in a particular direction. And so you kind of like put it on ice, or somebody did this to you. And so something's been on hold for a long time. And it was 22:11 on the clock when that came in. And you may think it's too late. No, it's not too late. That alignment you were supposed to experience back then, it's coming in now. And there's a perfection in it that you'll understand. But I'm telling you, it does require you to be really vulnerable in a situation where it might not be easy for you. 22:33 on the clock, you know. It's not who has the best comebacks. It's not about who, who gains the most, popular vote. I'm on Team Sag, that kind of thing. It's not about that. It's about getting down to the heart of a particular matter here. Okay, let me do a cut of the deck and see more about this challenge. Yeah, how can we work this out? How can we find a way through this situation so we can come back into this alignment, you see? And there is a way to work it out, but I do feel like there was this like third element in the mix here that kind of derailed this a bit. And it requires honest communication, transparency. Nothing can be vague here. And so that also means if you're dealing with a character that you feel is a bit slippery and they sort of evade things and they sort of dance around the subject at hand, you do need to ask the right questions as well. And that's what's being asked of you, to actually take the risk to veer from the pack, veer away from other people's counsel, trust your own counsel here, strike out on your own, move in that direction, let down the guards, and issue this communication, get the ball rolling in this direction. It leads to the beginning that you're hoping for in the spring, okay? So let's have a look here with the Kipper deck. We're going to find out what is the key that opens up that heavy door being presented by Pluto in Capricorn that allows you to move through that gateway of initiation that comes with the new moon in Libra, with the solar eclipse, the ring of fire, on October 2nd. And it's going to be eclipsing the south node, okay? So there's something that's being settled in the karma at that time that presents you with an opportunity to either go for another round in the old karmic cycle, or to move into the rebirthing energy and the activation of your new chapter and the road of the stone of destiny opening before you. There's definitely something concerning a house, all right, with this situation going on here. I think of house, I also think of not just like the living space, security, where do I belong, where is my home? We have to look at your home, your house on the zodiac wheel as well, which is the 9th house. So this is also about really expanding your view. Maybe having a philosophical view of a situation is key to resolving a particular issue. Also, maybe you've been looking at this situation from more of a practical standpoint, and actually it requires a more expansive sort of perspective, a more spiritual perspective. This may be more of a spiritual matter that's being resolved here. I also feel optimism is a key for you because that's associated with your house, and you may need to journey somewhere. You may need to travel somewhere. And that could even be traveling somewhere emotionally that you've never been before. And maybe with a particular person, it's like, I've never revealed this much about myself to another person. This feels like I'm putting the dagger in their hands, like I'm totally defenseless here. And maybe you have been in situations in the past where you were really hurt. You let down your guard and you found nothing but a bunch of drama, a bunch of pain, a bunch of emotional injury coming out at you. And you're tired. You know, you don't want to deal with this anymore. Some of you may feel like you haven't even healed from the last cycle, and now you're expected to let down your guard again. Okay, but there's something here about you need to have more optimism in this situation. What's coming through here for you is meant to move you into a place of growth in your life. And I feel like you've been kind of like hanging out in a bardo for a while. Not quite back there and not quite where you want to be either. You're sort of in this in-between place. So this is all about helping you figure out where you do belong, where you are welcome, where you do have roots. And also for a home to have strength, there needs to be the proper foundation laid. So this is all about the way you start something is how it will develop, and has a lot to do with where it'll end up ultimately. So this is about getting the foundation in place to bring something as well together. So this could be, you know, a family matter you're dealing with here, something you want to heal. This could be somebody that feels like family to you, your soul family here. And also I feel like the physical body could be coming into play as well. You may have been dealing with some health challenges. I could especially see this if you've been in this space of the 9 of Wands, constantly having to defend yourself, defend your position, one thing after another coming at you, dealing with all kinds of emotional challenges, dealing with people who aren't being upfront with you, people who've been vague with you, and feeling very emotionally activated around all of it, but also at the same time feeling like it's not even safe for me to let down my guard and show what I'm feeling here, because I don't even know who I can really count on at this point, all right? I feel like, you know, it's first about laying down your foundation, and what that really revolves around is you sinking into your own experience, what's true for you, getting clear about what you need to communicate, what's real for you, and where you're being guided at this time. So that is the foundation of bringing something together with another. And you may be trying to heal a relationship too. You're hoping for a new beginning in a relationship. After some tough times, after a relationship was really challenged and had a lot coming at it, okay? This could be with a lover. This could be a marriage, you know, trying to save a marriage. This could definitely be coming in around a family member, a dear friend, okay? And maybe even your relationship with yourself. There's a lot you're learning about yourself here. But whatever grows from this, it has lasting value, okay? So your key has something to do with your foundation, the foundation of matters. You might also want to reflect a little bit on your upbringing. What was your home life like as a kid? Some of these dynamics could be playing a role here. We do have courthouse here on the bottom of the deck with the number 23. Some kind of changes taking place. Wealthy man. Okay, so it's possible as well that there's something coming into alignment for you here. See, there's some tower moment here. We got two men in this picture, and we got a marriage, right? And we got a change coming in around this. And there's community involvement with this. There's also great fortune and distant horizons. We got unexpected income here too. A lot about coming into some big like financial level up. I feel like there's a relationship that's ending here. Now, this is some kind of marriage, okay? So this certainly could be, you know, a legal marriage, right? Where there's legally binding contracts in place. So there's definitely a need to go through some kind of adjudication process here. I feel like there's a change that's desired here, but there might be some kind of balancing out required. It may require legal balancing out here. This could be a desire to move in a different direction where you feel more inspired. Maybe somebody's kind of like a muse to you. That's possible. This may have come as a tower to you, that you're actually feeling inspired to move in a different direction. You may feel a bit destabilized by this, I have to say. I do see that the masculine in this situation is taking the initiative here. We've got a main male coming in with the number 1 there. So that makes me think of the Aries energy, the first house. Somebody is really stepping into their personal empowerment here. And they're striking some claim on a future they want for themselves. I mean, there's something that's coming to an end here to bring about a change, to move forward in a new direction. I feel like in a direction that's very inspired. It's got musing energy. Somebody's been in their thoughts about this a long time, but it feels like what's kind of been keeping things held up at the crossroads is it's just a thought. Nothing's been really set in motion. And there is something tangible that does need to change here, or something that needs to be balanced out in spiritual court, okay? This could also be coming through some kind of like business partnership that needs to dissolve so you can strike out in your own direction as well. Maybe you've had, you know, your fortunes hitched to another person that's actually slowing down your manifestation. It's like creating blocks to your abundance. It could be that somebody has a reputation that precedes them and not in the best way. Okay, so you might need to disentangle yourself from that and move as an independent agent in this situation. And this certainly can be in terms of a romantic relationship as well. You know, you may have recognized a long time ago that this ain't where it's at for you. And you felt manipulated to stay, or there was something complicated in this situation that kept you in position. You may have felt really trapped in some kind of dynamic. I feel like you're freeing yourself from a soul contract here because you're actually inspired to move in a different direction. And whatever this choice is, whether you were holding back from doing this because of financial considerations, it's kind of ironic. Once you free yourself from this and you move in the direction you feel inspired to move into, then all of a sudden there's the financial flow, there's the prosperity comes through, there's the opportunities come through. And you'll find that where you felt like you were really sort of being held in place or you couldn't advance where you were at before, all of a sudden you're progressing. And it's because you're moving with the creative energy instead of sitting in the stagnancy. So that's really your key, is to flow with what inspires you. It's to follow your muse and activate that change you want to see in your life. It's 34 or 33 on the clock. This is something that brings a lot of luck your way. And if you are afraid to go through this process because you know that there are some kind of assets that need to be divided up legally, or there's some kind of action you need to take to dissolve an existing contract, such as a contract in a marriage or some kind of business agreement, this works out in your favor. This works out in your favor. But it requires you to really trust in yourself, your own vision, your own guidance, what your own heart is telling you to do, to stop feeling the need to sit around and defend yourself and your position to people who don't have any interest in understanding what you're feeling. They just want to make sure they're getting what they want out of the situation. And whatever this is, it's not working for you, I have to say. And that's your key. That's your key. You've been thinking about this for a long time. It's go time. You need to trust what inspires you here. What does fuel your optimism? Okay. Anytime we head down a path of meaning, it's going to have fear as its bedfellow because it means something, you know? There's certain risk involved in that. To really trust your heart, it takes risk here. But I do feel like with this marriage here, whatever this is something that's going through a revision. Something's changing here. There's some kind of binding agreement. That piece came in before. That could be what the binding is about. You're bound to another by law. Okay, so there's some kind of binding agreement here that needs to be dissolved. This change is desired, and this chariot is coming. Change is at hand. Only then will you have the freedom to take the action you want and move in the direction you've been thinking about for a long time. I think you didn't want to risk a particular foundation you had in place or a certain sense of stability because you didn't want to like fall flat on your face. You didn't want to take a leap of faith and then find that the landing was real hard here. I also think this is because, you know, there's a lot of attention around this, and there may be some community complications as well. There might be a lot of people you share in common, or there's a certain buzz around this in the community. I do feel like what should have been a more private matter has become a community matter because too many people have become involved in a situation. But whatever this is, by you sort of like pulling up your anchor and setting for distant shores here with distant horizons, it opens up great good fortune to you. This is a manifestation point for you, but I see you going your own way with this, all right? Looks like a big level up on the other side of that, though. If you have the courage to do it, you just got to follow your heart here. I know it's so simple, right? It's not always so simple, especially when the heart's been really bruised and there's a lot of self-protection in place and you feel like, you know, everybody's keeping an eye on you and your situation, and there's a lot on the line here. There's a lot on the line here. I do see it. I do see it. You know, there's risk here. Oh, but there's a lot of reward as well. Okay, really coming through so powerfully for you. Okay. It's also coming through that some of you may have been left something in an inheritance, but that hasn't been released to you because there's some kind of discrepancy around this being posed by another who feels like they should have their hands on those assets. You may have to take legal action with this. It is your key, okay? It might not be comfortable for you. You might not want to do this, but I do see whatever these funds are, whatever's been frozen up to this point or blocked or has been withheld intentionally by another, it's going to be freed up for you, but it does require you to take action here. You do need to take action, and you need to trust your inspiration here. Some of you may have been partnering with somebody on some kind of project, and it's time to dissolve that that partnership and trust that going your own way is in your best interest too. I mean, there's a lot of unexpected resources coming your way in terms of financial advancement here. It looks good. Cut in the deck for more on your key. There is a child that could be factoring into this situation with the mature woman here, okay? So a mother could be in the mainframe, a baby's mother could be in the mainframe here. There could be something if you're going through some kind of divorce proceedings where you're concerned. You're concerned about the welfare of a child in this situation. You want to make sure that you have time with your child. You may be, in some cases, also finding out about a love child, you know, and there's also worrying about having the resources to support this child as well. I also feel like there's something very young that's being activated in you here that is making it feel not safe to let down the guard, not safe to allow yourself to be vulnerable. And it does tie back to your family roots here with the family room, okay? And addressing a particular thief in this situation, right? This could be a time thief, somebody who's wasted your time. This could be the way you've sabotaged yourself and held yourself back from what you know is truly in alignment with your heart. And again, in the case where your money has been interfered with, or there's been some kind of theft of assets, or something was done in a very nefarious and subversive way, I do see you coming out ahead. Whoever, you know, participated in this, taking assets, stealing something that belongs to you, it will be rectified, okay? It will be rectified. But there is something here about you, you know, speaking your truth and taking action here to set this in motion. Do expect this on the horizon. If this has not come about yet, it will be coming around soon. And yes, where somebody did take something that did not belong to them, they will have to deal with the repercussions of that. I have to say. Could this be spiritual jail? It could be, but I am picking this up about some kind of monetary theft in a situation, or somebody doing something illegally to seize somebody's assets or control somebody's assets here. And that's going to be rectified. You'll find that that goes in your favor, okay? So something is being balanced out here karmically. All right, so that's a little dicey, all right? But I see you finding your way through. What's the empowerment on the other side? See, I think you've been really moving out of place of disadvantage here. You may have had some health problems. There's that advisor, that trusty advisor by your side. As you see, you're the one who's injured here. You've been trying to make it through something on a wing and a prayer, and you don't even got a wing that can fly there. And meanwhile, you're sitting here feeling like, you know, this is not how things were supposed to turn out. Oh, I do see this character's got a little injury going on here too. Okay, so there's two here that have been injured. I'm noticing their foot is injured. I get the message of that. Okay, it's like you're wanting to fly. I see that. You're wanting to fly. And somebody's been advising you that they're not ready to move forward. They want to stay in the whole dynamic here. I see that. But you're ready to fly. But for some reason, you've been staying behind. Maybe because you know this person's afraid. This person's afraid to move forward, or you're concerned about if you do move ahead, what's going to happen to this other person. You do have some compassion here. I feel that. I also feel like there's been a lot of loss. And it's like the longer you stay in this situation, the more the loss accrues. All right, so what's on the other side of this? What's the empowerment? What's the empowerment of taking this risk? You know, to just be truthful, to be transparent, to address the elephant in the room, to address what's been swept under the rug. It's possible that there's like a family dynamic in place of sweeping things under the rug instead of dealing with things directly. This could be playing out in you, or it could be the person that you're dealing with. This person's evasive. They don't want to deal with the tough stuff. They don't want to have the real conversations, but this is becoming very uncomfortable. Whatever this is, you're just really starting to feel the sense of loss accrue. There's a need for this to be balanced out. And you may feel like in some way it's injurious to another for you to fly, for you to have your freedom, for you to move in another direction, but actually you're both being held back by this, I have to say. Okay, so let's see what's this empowerment on the other side for you. Okay, that wanted to come out, so I'm going to take that. It's coming out as a crossing influence. Let me go ahead and do a shuffle here. Yeah, see, there's this third element here. You have synergy with somebody here. You're of the same minds. You may even feel like you have a connection with this individual, even though you're currently not interacting with each other. I feel like this is something, it's either a person or an opportunity you want to come into alignment with, but you're connected to this other person or this situation here that's preventing this from coming together. See, these two are in alignment, but this one here is not. And I do feel like this person is trying to insert themselves in a situation to prove their value, that they have a place in this situation, but I don't think you feel like that. And I think that you're having a hard time communicating this, maybe because of different things that are on the line. For some of you who are getting out of a relationship where there's children involved, you may be afraid that this person will use the child as a bargaining chip. And you don't want that to happen. Okay, so this is like some third-party dynamic that's being ironed out here. Let me see what these two crossing cards here are about. Look at this. What's your empowerment? The Wheel of Fortune to Justice. Wow. You need to act on this truth. This balances out the karma of this cycle. And this gives you your freedom, and you move forward. You move forward quite rapidly here, I have to say. And you move into a very successful cycle. With that Wheel of Fortune, you could be needing to create movement in a situation with a Taurus, with a Leo, with a Scorpio, or an Aquarius. There's been a lot of illusion in this situation. I don't know why I'm getting this vibe with this windmill. It's sort of reminding me of tower energy, but it's almost evoking like, you know, the Rapunzel story, like somebody's wanting to be rescued in this situation. And I feel like you've come to a person's rescue repeatedly, but this is time to save yourself. That's what I feel. You might have been dealing with like kind of a codependent dynamic, but as you step into your empowerment here, this is what levels you up. Everything starts to move forward. It looks like there's a lot of abundance that comes in for you. You are able to have that strong foundation, and there's a balancing out here. And what you come into alignment with here is your truth, justice energy. So we got your energy here very strongly with the Wheel of Fortune. We also have Libra energy here, right? This is your empowerment. Your empowerment is to move forward. It is. It's to move forward toward what is inspiring you. It is a gamble that will pay off for you. Let's do a cut of the deck and see what we got coming up there for you, Sag. Just seeing how this empowerment will pay off for you. Look at that. It opens your road. The Fool. You travel light. You're not carrying any burdens forward with you. There's just so much more lightness of being. You're not dragging any heaviness forward with you. And you know you're going to be taken care of with that squirrel medicine there. I think you're going to get a little bit of a financial come up here that's going to facilitate this moving forward for you as well. You may not realize that yet.
But it's sort of like when you commit to doing it, you'll notice things will start to line up to facilitate you moving into this next chapter. There could be an Aries involved in your situation, an Aquarius involved in your situation. This is a leap of faith, okay? But it's a brand new opportunity for you. And it's a brand new road ahead, a brand new chapter. And this is something that you're going to be celebrating here. It is your justice. And it's a turn of fortune that's high time it's come around for you, okay? I feel like you've been more dealing with the challenges. You've been on the lower end of that wheel of fortune. Now you're coming on the upswing, okay? So yeah, you got to take that risk. And what's on the other side here? 10 of Wands, right? This is your empowerment. It's recognizing that there's a lot you've been carrying here that you don't need anymore. You can just drop it. All you need is this one wand, which is your inspiration to take action in a direction that's meaningful for you. And it's going to put so much power in your hands that opens up a brand new journey for you, a brand new chapter in your life. This is really beautiful energy. I have to say, this looks good. I mean, I'm not saying it's fun to move through this territory, but hey, join the club. Everybody is moving through this territory. We're all in the same boat together. It just, what we're experiencing that's rocking that boat is a little bit different from side to side. But there is something here that's transformed, and it does lead you up to your destiny. So you're transforming fate here. Yes, and I love it. So what is the magic that's weaving into your life? You get to give up the ghost of regret. And instead, you get to discover fulfillment in its place. I feel like there's something that's haunted you for a while here, okay? There's something that's haunted you. It's been with you all along. And you've tried to deny it, or maybe, push it aside in your mind, not focus on that. You've tried to find fulfillment from other sources, but there's this soul calling that you need to answer. And if you don't answer it, and you don't take this action, and you don't do what you know you need to do, you're going to kick yourself for it down the road. I have to say, that's how it's coming through. So let's see what magic weaves through your life if you're brave and you face this thing head on. You take the actions you need to take. You let down the walls and you start allowing yourself to really be seen in your truth, express your truth, stand up for your truth, and chart your own course, Trust your own vision, trust your own intuition, trust what Spirit's telling you. You don't need an advisor in this case. I really feel that. I feel like you already know what's right. And it's sort of like what's held you back is you've been looking for confirmation from other people. And really what your whole challenge is about is moving into that place of empowerment where you thoroughly trust yourself. You don't need the validation of other people. You validate yourself. You know what's real for you. You know your experience. And it doesn't really matter what anybody else has to say about it, how they weigh in on it, what it means to them, because it's not about them. This is your path. It's your path apart. And so you can't bring all these other energies in tow with you. They're complicating a situation. I think that's part of it too. Where you're going, you have to venture there alone. You can't bring all these other people in tow. You have to trust your own path here. And that's a big source of your empowerment. Let's see what kind of magic it weaves into your life, because you do feel like you're opening your road. You're about to go on a journey. You may actually be going on a physical journey. You may be covering some distance here. It's part of the opening of a new chapter in your life. What magic is it going to weave into Sagittarius' world of spirit? What magic is it going to weave into Sagittarius' world spirit? What magic is it going to weave into Sagittarius' world spirit? Something that's got strong roots, strong foundation, something really growing here, something that's rooted. And there's so much beauty that will unfold as a result of this. You can't see it right now, right? It's just the beginning stages of what will be long lasting and enduring in your life. Some of you are wanting to get back out into nature. You're wanting to live in more of a natural setting. You may be living more in sort of like an urban environment. You may live in the city. You want to be somewhere where you can kind of clear your thoughts, you know, get grounded out here. You want to be somewhere where you can integrate this experience. Some of you may be going on some kind of retreat as well. I can see that to sort of prepare for this big transition in your life. I think you're also just noticing the signposts as well. You're starting to see the perfection of your life and how even when things seem like a little uncertain or kind of unpredictable, that it was actually leading you exactly where you were meant to be, okay? Whatever you're stepping into here, it's long lasting. There's a lot of growth that's going to come from it. And it does have a bit of legacy energy, I have to tell you. Ooh, yes. And we got the witch here, okay? So you're using your fire to call in your new reality. It says the earthly weaver of the world. So the power is being put in your hands to transform a situation. And you're going to recognize once you have this out of the way, what's been holding up your power, what's been blocking your effectiveness, what's been keeping you stuck, you're going to see how quickly you're able to manifest your desires. I do feel there's a lot that's about to transform in your life in the best way. Look at that. You got the weaver of the worlds, and the bottom of the deck, you have the spider here, which is all about community and web weaving. So I do see that you're moving into a highly creative cycle here. You're making new connections. You've been going through perhaps some situations that were a bit sticky, confusing. You felt in some cases you were being like set up, like it's a trap, you know? But at the end of the day, I feel like you've been able to free yourself from some kind of illusion here. And now you're entering like this spiral of creativity. And you're going to have a lot of reach here. I see you expanding your networks. I see more people being drawn to the work that you do. This also could really be leveling you up financially. And if you're doing something on the web, or you've got a platform, something along these lines, or you do some kind of work that has you reaching out in a public way where you're building a community around the kind of work that you do, or maybe you're doing something that has you going on tour. Maybe you wrote a book, okay? I'm thinking Charlotte's Web. I'm getting this like kind of writer vibe here. It could also be you wrote an album, you know, you're going to take it on the road. I feel like whatever this is, it does shine a spotlight on you, and your community is building. There's growth here, and you're moving toward the light. You're moving out of this time of sort of being caught up in illusion, caught up in confusion. And there's somebody you're coming into alignment with here, with collaborative dreaming. And this is well overdue. But it comes on the other side of dissolving a partnership that you're no longer in alignment with. And that can be a romantic partnership, it can be a business partnership. But whatever it is, this is a magnetizing force. And it also brings a lot of blessing, good fortune your way. And again, you're going to find that where you couldn't manifest the abundance or the opportunities or your desires before, you're going to find that this is like so instantaneous. So much is freed up for you here. You really will start to magnetize a whole different kind of experience to yourself. And there's a lot of people that are going to be drawn to whatever this is that you're doing, I have to say. So I do feel like you're coming into alignment with somebody, and this may even be somebody that you're co-creating this with, or it could be just that your connection, it's sort of like a dynamic duo. It draws a lot of attention, right? But I do feel this is really positive energy coming through for you here. Let me do a kind of deck just to cap it off. Yep. It's time to leave behind the shadows, focus on the light. See, there's that tree legacy energy again. There's a lot of dreams that are prepared to come on the other side of this letting go. You are facing the darkness and you're discovering the gift on the other side of that. But there's something here. There's something here about focusing on that light, right? And letting the mask fall away. It's time. It's time to let all that light you've been holding inside be revealed. It's going to be the seed of your future.